evening, everyone. Welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town, and tonight's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to hand out certificates to all the individual elementary school winners of the Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest. Before we start, we have one little guy that's got to get out to a basketball game. So from School 26, I'd like to call up Grant Lorenzen. Good job, pal. You got up. Mom's taking a picture. All right. What'd you think about the essay? What'd you think about it?
I liked working on a person who inspired me to that help people with problems in the country.
All right. Good start. Good. Way to go. Way to go. Good job, man. All right. Now go score double figures, okay? I want a triple-double tonight. All right. And now we'll go to the rest of the schools in order. First, I want to mention we have an awful lot of principals here, and I always say in Woodbridge, the principals at all different levels always support their kids, and most principals have, I think the lowest school is 220, the highest school might be 500 different kids, and there's one kid from each school tonight. And there's 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 16 principals are here. So I think that's 11, June's there. 11 out of 16 principals. And if your principal's not, I mean, nothing to be afraid of. It's just they may have had something to do, but they would have been here if they could. So let me introduce the principals from School 14, Kathy Worley. From School 9, Patricia Fitzgerald. Vince Sacadato is the curriculum coordinator for social studies, supervisor of social studies. Dr. Maria Gincarelli, School 4 and 5. Scott Osborne, School 21. Jill Osborne, School 29. Joanne Schaefer, School 20. Margaret Trupa, School 19. Oh, there's Tammy. Tammy Giordano, School 11. Mr. Tom Lucen from School 27. And Tom Patton from School 28. And June Pascooljan from School 23. They're all here tonight. Let's hear for them. Oh, sorry. You moved. You were over there before. Judy Martino, School 26. Sorry. So that means we have, oh, another one. Matt Connolly, School 22. If we stay here long enough, they'll all show up. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 16. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, we're going to call up the school winners one at a time. We're going to ask you to stand up here, and then we're going to call up the district winner, and we're going to take a picture of the whole group, if that's okay with everybody. So from school number 1, Danae Bispo. What's that grown out of your head? What? You got something grown out of your head. You better go see the doctor. Oh, okay. You want to, I'll ask the kids if you want to say something, you don't have to, but if you want to say anything, you're welcome to. So the floor is yours, Danae. What do you want to say? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I usually don't.
It was fun.
All right, that's good. Oh, a picture with each one? Oh, where's Cam? Oh, where's Megan? All right. All right, open up your proclamation. Come on over here, man. You want to do it from there? All right, open it up. That's it.
There we go.
Now you have to stand right in front of my belly. Okay, now you can move off to the side. From School 4 and 5, Rohit Vajhala. Good job, young man. You want to say anything to your adoring fans?
No. Well, I liked it because my dad taught me that it is easy to write about someone important, and it is not easy to write about someone ordinary. So.
All right, that's good. Very good. All right. No, stay here. Rohit, stand up here. You guys kind of move down a little bit. From School 9, Natalie Dos Santos. You want to say anything, Natalie? Okay. I forgot to introduce the council. Councilwoman from the 5th Ward of Colonia, Debbie Meehan. 2nd Ward Councilman, Fort Hope, Colonia, Caseby, is Howie Bauer. 1st Ward Councilwoman from Woodbridge and Seawarren is Nancy Drum. And Councilman at Large, Greg Ficara. Councilwoman at Large and current Council Vice President, Lisbeth De Jesus. From School 11, Brianna Reyes. Okay, look at Megan there, open it up. Now look over here, I think they want a picture. All righty. You want to say anything? Go ahead.
I just want to say that it was a lot of fun writing about something so important
Oh, very good.
To me.
Go ahead.
and something that's very inspiring. And I thought it was a lot of fun.
All right, very good, very good. School 18, Krishnam Masuria. All right, man. Congratulations. All yours.
I just want to talk about like what inspired me. So me and my family go to a spiritual organization where we talk about the values of other people and how to erase unrighteousness from the world. So that's what
All right, good job, man. Stand over here. Open it up. All right, terrific. Next up, we have Emma Aponte from School 19. Anything? Nope? Okay, let's get a picture. It's okay if you don't want to talk. It's okay. I never would have talked if I was your age. Never in a million years. All right. From School 20, Katyayani Sarin. Yes or no? Not speaking? No? Okay. Wait, over there. We can take them after, because this is in the way. We'll take them after. Okay, School 21, Yisrael Custodio. You got the school sweatshirt and everything, man. You want to say anything?
I think that Martin Luther King is a very powerful man.
All right. Okay, go that way now. School 22, Isabella Tavares. Come on, right over here. I'll start if you want to say something. Go ahead.
I just want to say this was an amazing opportunity to be able to share my opinion on how inspiring Martin Luther King was.
Oh, very good. Mr. Conley got a picture. It's going to be in the newsletter. From School 23, Sophia Gonzalez. So we'll give that to the principal. From School 25, Nicholas Tong. All right, from School 27, Julia Pajdak. No, not you yet, not yet, not yet. Want to say anything?
No.
No, okay, so slide over. Slide over. Is that big sister over here getting an award? All right. School 28, Ariane Nayar.
I just want to say that was really nice to write about someone inspiring, in my opinion.
All right, come on over here. Turn it around. Yeah, flip it around, that's it. All right. School 29, Tanish Bojawala. Go ahead, start it.
I feel like MLK was a great man, inspiring many people, including me.
All right. Let's get over here. You got a lot of cameras going here, man. All right. From School 23, Sophia Gonzalez. And I got those. And now, you may have noticed we didn't mention School 14, Ford Avenue School, because the overall winner of the district, the entire school district for this Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest from Ford Avenue School 14, Alexander Alcantara. Good job, man. Let's come on over here. Hold this. Let's get a good picture. Turn around. Hold it up. And I'm not going to ask if you want to say anything because
I'm going to read.
You're going to read it, right?
Yes.
All right, let me hold this. Why don't you read it and get right up close? Actually, don't get too close.
Okay.
We'll pick it up. Right there is good.
On January 21st, 2019, we will celebrate the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is celebrated because he was a pioneer in the civil rights movement. He was devoted to achieving equal rights for people of all races, regardless of their skin color or beliefs. He was known for his nonviolent approach and peaceful protests. He was a leader who brought about change. In this essay, I will discuss how Martin Luther King's dream of all people to be created equal inspires the actions in my life. In Martin Luther King's most famous I Have a Dream speech, he said, "One day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I myself am of a mixed racial background. My mother is Caucasian, my father is Asian. I have friends from all different backgrounds that I treat the same regardless of how they look. I have friends that are Asian like me, I have friends that are Caucasian like me, and I have friends that are African American like Martin Luther King Jr. was." Martin Luther King Jr. also said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by their skin color, but by the content of their character. I have a friend that has a different skin color than me, but when we met each other, I didn't care about his skin color, I cared about his personality. When I meet people that are a different religion than me, I don't judge them based on their beliefs, but on their personality and character. My grandfather is Jewish and I am Catholic, but we still enjoy all of the holidays together. People of all races and beliefs can enjoy the same activities together since we are all created equal." Another example of Dr. King's famous words that I try and follow in my life is when he said, continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. When I face something tough in my life, I try best not to get frustrated and not to let things get me down. I try to work hard to make a tough situation better. I also remember what my mother told me, where there is a will, there is a way. While the challenges I face may not be as difficult as the African Americans faced during the days of segregation in America, I could still approach them in a peaceful and positive way. For example, if I have a disagreement with my sister, it is better to discuss peacefully without yelling. Martin Luther King Jr. was an inspiring individual. He saw the injustices that many others had seen before him. What made him unique was his ability to bring change through captivating speeches and peaceful methods of protest. A lot of progress has been made since then, but there's still more work to do. There are still examples of inequality and injustices in America and throughout the world. If we all live according to Dr. King's dream, then we can work to continue and make progress one person at a time.
Good job, Jim. So I've been mayor 13 years now, so I've done 13 of these. That might be the best speech I ever heard.
Thank you.
You're mixed race and you're mixed religion. That's very different. Not many people have both of those. And you can, just come up here and confidently talk about it and what it's meant to you. That's terrific. Great job, man.
Thank you.
Great job. All right. I know all the principals, but I don't know all the teachers. So if there's any teachers in the audience, can you please stand up? Any teachers in our school system? All right. Terrific. And is there anybody I missed? Did I miss anybody? Oh, good, good. All right, let's get a group picture first. Well, how about Vin? Can you come up and say a few words? Vin Sacadato is the head of social studies curriculum in the district. Want to say a few words about the contest?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank all the parents for coming out tonight, and I'd like to thank all the students for a fantastic job. As the mayor said, this had to be one of the best years. I've been doing this now for 16 years, and it never gets old for me. Every time Martin Luther King rolls around and I get the essays in. It's a nice little break from my workday. I get to read through all the essays, and I'm always impressed how every single year there's always a fresh take or a fresh interpretation that the students have. So it's a pleasure to read them. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's difficult to choose a winner because so many of them are just so well written. It's very hard to choose a winner. But I have to say that this year's group really amazed me. Just head and shoulders above all the rest. Very well done. So thank you guys for doing a great job. And again, thank you parents for supporting us and coming out tonight, and for all the principals and teachers who came out tonight also. Thank you.
Okay, we also have our council president who's in a meeting upstairs. So is Council President Corey Spiller, covering Avenel and Port Reading, and Councilman at Large Brian Small. They had a meeting upstairs, but they're here to join us now. So they're available for pictures afterwards. Pictures with the mayor are $5. Pictures with the councilor are 50 cents. So.
Good evening. Call the council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our military personnel overseas. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The home meeting will begin. Starlight published a notice on December 21st, 2018. A copy of the schedule is posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Ficarra.
Here.
Councilwoman Drum.
Here.
Councilman Small.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilman Patel.
Here.
Councilman Bauer.
Here.
Vice President De Jesus.
Here.
And President Spiller.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from February 5th, 2019?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with second reading ordinances, taking letter A first, which is a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of real property in the amount of $2 million. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and a public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A only.
Good evening, Town Council, administration, members. Yes, Tom Maris, Forge, New Jersey. Can we get a little bit more explanation on what that bond ordinance you're speaking of, ordinance A, for the $2 million. Which properties are we buying and why?
This is a property located on Rowe Avenue. It's been ongoing negotiations with Conrail. So basically it's a land swap, which turns into a purchase of the property. So Conrail has Rowe Avenue. There's a piece of property that we have over in the Port Reading section near Clotide Pool. So what that's going to do is we're going to be able to have that property to Conrail and move the switching portion of Conrail trains from behind the residence on Rosewood Lane further away from there.
All right, but we're also paying $2 million, so it's not just an outright swap. $2 million is to enhance the deal, and that's the extra
That's the purchase of the. That's the purchase of the property on Rowe Avenue.
But that is the Conrail property, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
And we're going to utilize it for what? Just to buy it, and then.
Nothing is planned at this point.
Can it be developed at some future point?
Senator?
It's a narrow roadway. It used to be the right-of-way for where the rail line was. Mm-hmm. We're going to be, it's all part of this with the utility swap. The utilities over on the Bowtie property are going to have to be relocated. The purchase price that we pay for the relocation of that will in fact be reduced from this amount, which is up to $2 million. And so this is a long-term negotiations that's been taking place. This is the first step of a series of agreements with Conrail in order to put together so that we'll be able to develop the Bowtie property and the Cypress piece and have those, the utilities have to be removed in order to put the rail line into the yard over there, so that the trains will be able to make a curve and go into the yard. So this is just one piece of it. That's the first piece.
And then the property that we're swapping now, we're not currently using it for anything? And what will Conrail use it for, if anything, after the swap?
Right now, it's where the part where the old pool used to be. So and that's been abandoned, and now that we're going to have, that's where the line is going to have to go through. And the utilities will be changed, and then they'll get a piece of our land, and then we'll get a credit for the cost of the utilities.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
Any other comments on letter A only? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion to the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Letter B is ordinance authorizing and directing the title and possession of the same piece of property be acquired by the township. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter B only. Here, no comment from the public. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Letter C, an ordinance authorizing and directing that the town of Woodbridge enter into a lease agreement with the Avenel Colonia First Aid Squad. Letter C, can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter C only.
Again, Tom Maris, Fords, New Jersey. On the property that the Avenel Colonia First Aid Squad currently owns, you're going to lease a portion of that property, it's my understanding, for parking?
That's correct.
Okay. What will that parking be used for?
During the day, talking about the area behind the parking lot, behind the building, the grass area, and that area closer will be paid parking for transit.
For transit?
Train commuters, yes.
Train commuters, okay. Because I thought we just spent a lot of money repaving the Knights of Columbus parking lot over on Avenel so that they could use that and run a shuttle back and forth. Because this is augmenting that, and what's the latest study to show how many cars are currently using the Knights of Columbus?
We did pave that, and after 3 months we suspended it because the ridership wasn't there.
And how much did we spend to pave that lot, and now we suspended it?
That I don't recall off the top of my head, but we're focusing on ordinance number C, which is the First Aid Squad.
Well, they are tied together. In regard to that, I know that the squad is in financial trouble. In fact, I believe we discussed last meeting that the fire commissioners in Avenel have made provisions, let's say, to purchase the property over there. How will that affect the lease agreement if, in fact, you do purchase it? And are you going to purchase all of that First Aid Squad? And if so, again, how does that affect this lease agreement?
This lease agreement is only for a lease agreement for parking in the rear of the property. It has nothing to do with the building.
All right, but if you buy it...
We're not buying it. We're leasing it.
Correct.
Leasing the
But
parking.
if the First Aid Squad, I'm sorry, if the fire department buys it, does not change the complexion of this agreement?
Right now, the First Aid Squad owns the building. We're going into a lease agreement with the First Aid Squad.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get at what's going to happen to it, because if you guys do come in and buy it, and we want to see the squad stay there, I mean, there's no no doubt that I helped fight for keeping that squad, and certainly want to see it stay there. I'm just trying to get the clarification of how that's all going to work.
When you say we buy it, if you meant the township, there is no intentions whatsoever.
No, I'm sorry. We, the taxpayers, ultimately it's taxpayers' money that are buying it, but it would be through the fire commissioners or Avenel Fire Department. If they in turn buy it, are they buying lock, stock, and barrel? In other words, the building and the properties, and then you have a lease agreement, which you then would have to cut, I guess, with the township. Is that not correct?
Right now, the lease agreement would be with the First Aid Squad.
All right. Again, subsequent, if they have to sell it, which is my understanding that they need to get you, they're going to sell it to the fire department. That's all of the property, the building. Then you would then become the landowner, and you would have, the township would have to have a new agreement with you for leasing that property. And my concern is, if you're going to put parking in there, how does that maybe obstruct the First Aid Squad? I mean, that takes up a lot of people coming and going, ongoing traffic, which could hinder an emergency movement of equipment over there.
Maybe I don't understand the question. Are you talking about, you said something about the first aid squad building?
Correct.
And then you said something about...
If you're going to put parking in there for people, it's going to take up a lot of spots. That's the idea of having it there. Does that impede the first aid squad's ability to move their equipment in an emergency?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir. Yes, Councilman Small.
Isn't the parking lot we're speaking about totally disconnected from the existing squad parking lot?
Correct.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's
Yes, it's an
the
area
question.
behind existing paving that's unimproved right now.
Oh.
And we've discussed it with the squad. They have ample parking for what they have, for their operations now.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Any other comments on letter C?
John Vitalik, Woodbridge. Very good questions, Tom. Isn't it going to kind of enhance the value of the property if you, of course, how much rent you're going to pay for it by the chance, you know?
Senator?
I didn't hear the question.
He asked about the rent, the lease agreement.
He asked about the lease agreement?
Right.
The township will be paving the property, and then there is going to be a machine for commuters to pay, and there'll be some sort of allocation between the monies that come in from the rentals of those spaces for commuter parking. It is, that's what the lease agreement is. That's what's in the lease agreement.
Now, why would they let you do something like that if they're not going to make money? They don't need a parking lot, so why would they let you use it?
Right now, that property is just a grass lot.
I understand.
And now it's going to have an income stream because it's going to have commuters, people parking on it at $3 a day.
I know.
So, okay,
I know,
so
I know,
that'll
understand.
provide an income stream for whoever the lease is with.
But you just said they will not be, they're just going to pave it and what you want to call whatever improvements, but then there would not be additional income to the first aid or the fire department.
Right now, there's no income for that property coming in.
I know.
Now the income will be the commuter parking lot that will have $3 per day per car will be the income that will be split between the township and the whoever is the landlord. In this case, right now, it'll be the first aid.
First step, you have no idea what you talk, how many parking spots and how much income would be.
I have no idea about what?
You don't know how many parking spaces?
Approximately 16.
16 parking spaces. And how much would cost to improve the property?
We do that in-house.
I know, but still you have to pay the
cost of
workers.
the asphalt, I don't know. Maybe Dennis Henry knows. I don't know how much. We do, the labor is ours.
Yeah, but still you have to pay the labor. Then they don't do it for any money. You still got to
Well,
pay it.
yeah,
payroll.
but they work for us already. There'll be an engineering study as to the cost of the asphalt. I don't know how much that would be.
No, thank you.
Any other questions on letter C? If there are no other questions, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We will take letters D, E, F, G, and H by consent. These are all traffic and parking ordinance amendments. First is with regards to traffic regulations on quasi-public property. The second is to delete handicap parking spaces in front of certain private residences. The third, which is letter F, is to add handicap parking spaces as well. Letter G is for handicap parking on private property, specifically the crossings at Tulip Drive. And H is for restricted parking on portions of Green Street and Main Street, Monday through Friday. With that said, can I get a motion that these ordinances be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on D, E, F, G, and H. D, E, F, G, and H only.
Yes, good evening, Tom Harris, Ford. On the parking prohibitions on Green Street, can you elaborate a little bit more about that? It says north and south sides. Green Street is rather long. Which areas are we specifically talking about? From what point to what point? And what will the prohibitions be?
These are specifically with regards to where the train trestle is outside on Main Street and Green Street.
And those hours are going to be limited, or will there also be permit parking there for residents?
No permit parking. It's going to be prohibited.
And from what hours to what hours?
Monday through Friday during the day.
Okay.
All times.
Like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning?
I think it's 24/7. Yeah, I believe so. It says all times, so it's all day, Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
Any other questions on these letters, D, E, F, G, and H?
Hi, Marge Gatis, Green Street, Woodbridge. I want to thank Nancy. Nancy just answered the question, kind of like what Tom just asked a minute ago. I just wanted to make sure that it was just under the train, the trestle there. It wasn't any other areas of Green Street or Main Street, correct?
Correct.
Just that area. Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments, D, E, F, G, and H? If there are no other comments, can I get the motion that these ordinances be, the public hearing on these ordinances be closed and the ordinances be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. We will now take by consent letters I, J, K, L, M, and N. These are all amendments to various chapters. The first is with regard to licensing and fees for records. The second is for animal control. The third is for construction permits. The fourth is with regard to street and sewer improvements. The fifth with regards to health fees, and the sixth with solid waste. And Mr. President, these are all housekeeping matters. So with that said, by consent, can I get a motion that the public hearing, second reading on I, J, K, L, M, and N be had?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on, again, I, J, K, L, M, and N. Hearing no comment from the public, by consent, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed and these ordinances be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letters O and P are first reading ordinances. If I get a motion that these ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on February 22nd, 2019, with notice of public hearing to be held on Tuesday, March 5th, 2019 at 7 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And finally, Mr. President, resolutions 1 through 39 by consent for approval, 1 through 29, 29. If I can get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. We'll now move to the public portion of the meeting. Please approach the microphone if you like. State the area of the township you live in, and there's a 5-minute time here.
Good evening. My name is Diana Krawinkle, Woodbridge. I have a question for the council. First thing I want to say is that I believe in when you see something, say something. I had a very close friend who years ago noticed that I am not one who plays devil's advocate. When I bring up a subject, it's because of great concern, not because I want to debate anything. My first question is Police Director Huber here? Oh, I'm sorry, didn't see you over there. I have a question about last Wednesday evening, February 13th, about, some would call it either an incident or an event, that occurred around 9 p.m. in the parking lot on North James Street in Woodbridge. And my first question is if you are aware whether that was called in as a 911 or just a general dispatch. Okay, this incident involved, I was in the middle of working on something and suddenly I heard very loud voices. And I went to my next room where I didn't have the light on and looked out, and I could see a large group of people in the lot. There were 3 vehicles and they were speaking very loudly. I had my phone in my hand. I did not make the call to the police department because I was trying to ascertain if this was an incident that required 911 or general dispatch. So I observed, as I said, approximately 15 people, 3 vehicles, and after about maybe 5 minutes, I'd say roughly more than half of the people entered 2 of the vehicles and drove off. They drove east towards School Street. A few minutes later, approximately 8 police cars came quickly, rapidly into the street to approach the 4 remaining people in the lot with the 1 car. So obviously it was under control because there were no longer loud voices, and I said, well, apparently someone had called. It was not me. Someone else in the neighborhood is also very aware and very concerned about what was going on. So I went in the other room, and then about 10 o'clock, I heard these loud voices again. And I went back to the other room, and these 4 people were still there. And I found it very odd that they were not asked to leave the parking lot. Do we have a loitering ordinance in town?
Ms. Kramer, go through the council president, please. What's the question?
Oh, I'm sorry, because I don't know if, I don't know who would best answer this. Do we have a loitering ordinance in town?
No.
Okay. Can we do something about this? This is a long-established residential neighborhood that is very quiet. These people were not from the neighborhood. And it's very disruptive. The other question I would ask is, do we have a uniform noise ordinance?
We have noise ordinances, yes.
But a uniform one across the board?
Yeah.
Say regarding time and regardless of the loud noise, if it's, say, like people or a dog barking?
It differs in respect to whether there's a residential noise ordinance and a commercial noise ordinance.
Okay, but this is, like I said, a long-established residential neighborhood that this happened in. And I'm deeply concerned because this is not quality of life when this is going on. And these people definitely were not from the neighborhood. I'm going to mention something else, too, about the lights in that parking lot, because I've raised this issue before when those lights were first put in there. There was only one, and I brought it to several people's attention that rather than the lights you see in the parking lot here and across the street, the light was angled directly at my house into my bedroom windows. And that's contrary to ordinance. And I leave my windows open. This isn't about putting up curtains and drapes and whatnot. I leave my windows open, particularly in the summer, because I generally don't use air conditioning. And so this light is filtering into my bedroom windows. So the last time I brought it up to someone's attention, what they did was they then installed the second light pole that is directly opposite my bedroom windows. Same thing, on an angle. So this is keeping light in my bedrooms. It lights my entire backyard, so you can see who's in the backyard. You can see each other's faces if you stand on each other's side. Yet, with this incident that happened last week, these people were standing directly under that light pole. I couldn't tell you how many were men and how many were women. Why? Because they were standing in shadow, because the light is on an angle. And I'd like to see that corrected.
Thank you. Your time is up. However, if you get myself or the administration the exact location, I'd be more than happy to have somebody go out and take a look at that situation.
Okay, would you like me to email you?
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Yes, good evening. Tom Maris, Forge, New Jersey. A couple of things. The senator talked about the cost of paving. It just happens that somebody had asked me about tax payments on property located at 10 Green Street, which I believe is the Rite Aid Lucas-owned property, and apparently the township leased that 1.5 acres some time ago. In doing that, the Lucases no longer pay taxes on that property, which has quite a bit of value to it, and I believe it's being sold.
What was the address?
Sorry?
What was the address?
10 Green Street, the Lucas property, Rite Aid,
Okay.
right by Rawway Avenue. And I believe that property is going to be developed for the apartment complexes that are going to go in there, which is about 210 or 12, somewhere around there. In saying that, in the documents that I received, and I just received them late this evening, as per the requirements of OPRA, and thank you for that. That was $80,000 that the township paid to pave part of their property, which is, again, 1.5 acres. So that might give us some indication of what it's going to cost to do the Avenel Colonia First Aid Squad. Certainly it's an indicator of what it must have cost to do the much larger facility over at the Knights of Columbus in Avenel. In fact, I'm going to be operating that to find out exactly how much the township taxpayers spent to do that, and then abandoned it 3 months after we paid for all that. The Stern Towers issue is still up with the courts. I intend to get back to that when we can. Arts Village, again, we see more and more need for parking over in that area, more taxpayers' expense. And one has to question, as I was, and somebody asked me, this is exactly what he said, was that just poor planning or deception on the part of the administration? I'd like to say it was just poor planning. They could have gone, and maybe still could, go to the Halperins and say to the Halperins, hey, we're going to take some of your property, let's develop a multi-story parking right there on site, which will take care of your transit people, your residents, and the need for local parking right at the Arts Village itself, instead of having to go out and buy other people's properties or rent properties from first aid squads. Incidentally, I just want to mention real quick, it's a snow moon tonight, that's why it's so big, and apparently we're going to be, it's living up to its name if that storm holds true, and that's why they call it a snow moon. One other thing that's come back, matter of fact, one of the people in the press that I know sent me something. It was an article back from 2011 and talking about employees of the township having full-time jobs here and working for other entities outside of the Woodbridge Township as full-time or part-time employees while they're supposed to be gainfully employed by the township and or the school boards. I hope that we can visit that. I don't want to elaborate too much on it this evening because I'm still doing a lot more research. But it does come up that Richard Lorenz has at least 2 jobs, one here for over $160,000, and also back then he was also doing taxes for Edison. But now it's my understanding that he is the supervisor of SOARS, which is a full-time position. One has to ask, and that also pays over $160,000. So here's a man making $320,000 between 2 municipalities. How much more of that is going on in this township?
Are there any other comments from the public?
John Vitale, Woodbridge. The other day, a week ago, $350,000 to purchase a piece of property, 127 Evansville Street, for the recreational purposes. So recreational purposes, that's for the art center across the street, right? General Dynamics?
No more General Dynamics, it's the
Right.
Avenel Arts Village.
Pardon me?
It's not General Dynamics, it's the Avenel Arts
Well, we
Village.
call General, we grew up over there, it's General Dynamics to us. You can call, I know it's Harper's, so let's call Harper's. But that's Transit Village. Now, 127 Evelyn Street, is it the same property that a couple of weeks ago that you tried to bond it for $220,000, which is Ralph Mucci property there up the street?
You asked the same question last meeting, I'm going to give you the same answer. No.
No, you didn't. You just told me it's a business property. You didn't say which
That's
property is
not
it.
what you asked. You asked about 127 Avenel Street, then you asked, is the same piece of property at 181 Avenel Street? And I said, no.
But okay, what is different for Ralph Mucci's property? We want to put 8 parking spaces for $220,000. That's for the what? Who would park there?
I'm sorry, which property are you talking about? Could you
I'm talking about Ralph Mucci property for $220,000, $225,000.
I believe that's going to be public parking. Yes,
That's a public parking.
public parking.
Now you go to public parking. Now then you got 127 Everett Street. That's going to be for recreational parking.
No, 127 Avenel Street is a building.
That's the offices.
It's the building across the street from the Arts Village.
Right. So it's going to be you said it's going to be for recreational. So you're going to have one is for the train, the other one will be for recreational, and the third one behind the first aid would be again for the
As recreational. 127 Avenel Street is and is staying a building. It's going to be the offices for the staff and the administration for the Avenel Performing Arts Center. There's no parking there. There's parking in the back for the employees.
I understand.
Well, that's not what you just said.
Just rephrase the question. You're making those little parking places between here and there you're up to $1 million already. To park 20, 30 cars?
For which one?
Well, you mentioned 3 different places, right?
What's the 3?
Pardon me?
What is the 3?
What I'm talking to General, I've been talking about first aid building. You can put a parking lot behind the first aid.
Okay.
Just to change a little different. You heard about the rain tax, right? It's Senate. You didn't hear about it.
Has no concern with us as of right now.
Well, yes, it is. But if there's a rain tax, well, everybody that paves the parking lots or driveways and the state would have to pay the rain tax.
I'm not going to comment on something that's not even drafted yet. in the Senate.
Well, talk to Mr. Coughlin about it. He was one who approved it.
When it gets moving, then I'll
Yeah.
take a look.
But again, Mr. Mayor said it was a poor planning that day one. You people knew it when you built it. Monstrous place over there is that too much of the building, not enough parking. We all talk about it all those years. Most important thing, you have a problem. What are you going to do about, you talk about now 4 and 5 school, you want to move the other part of Everett by the prison? What are you going to do with the fire department?
What are you discussing? Because you just brought up two different subjects.
Well,
that aren't
I
even
brought,
remotely-
yeah, but you got a problem there. You
You're
know it.
asking about
So you go
school
drips
fire.
and drapes.
What is the problem?
The problem is, I could not build a building without enough parking. You people did. Hawkins did. You all do it. Once when you do it, then you turn around and you pass those laws. And
What does
township
that have
pays
to
for
do
it.
with school 4 and 5?
Well, I know nobody builds parking lot for me. Why should it be for people across the street? That's their problem. They build this monstrous place over there. There's not enough parking. So how could you build some business with not enough parking?
There's ample parking.
We got a lot to learn. Last week, I don't want to run my time up. Last week, I asked the senator there,
Last meeting, please.
last meeting, with every thing that bonds, 20,000, 10,000, whatever, is millions of dollars. And you cut me off because my following question was, is we a good standard? We are, bonds are, up there. My question would be, did we pay this building off yet since we built it?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Town hall, is the building paid off since we built it?
I'm not sure of that, to be honest. I can find it for the next meeting, but I'm not sure. I can only tell you, because based on what you had asked at the last meeting, the bonds, the long-term bonds, they're less owed on our long-term bond indebtedness now than there was 10 years ago.
Thank you, Senator. I'm sorry. Mr. Vitark, your time is up. Thank you.
As usual.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion that the public portion of this meeting be closed?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you. We now move to the agenda portion. Start with mine, of course, as soon as I can find it. Item number 5, the Abbott Middle School's Community Service Club is in the process of a clothing drive. To date, they've collected over 50 large bags of clothes. They will give the bags to the Lupus Foundation on March 22nd. Just another great example of the leadership and the dedication that the club, which is comprised of middle schoolers. If interested in donating clothes to the Community Service Club, you can either reach out to myself, email, or call, or you can contact the school direct at 732-596-4210 and ask for the Community Service Club. Finally, item number 7, Mayor Mac's Cafe will be opening soon. The cafe, located in the Cypress Rec Center, will be open for breakfast and lunch, and will be open also during the wrestling and cheer events at night. The cafe will feature kids from the RISE program, and they will be trained how to work, enabling the kids with special needs, the ability to work. So that's awesome. The rest of my agenda is in order. Council Vice President De Jesus.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is pretty much in order. Moving down to item number 5, Police Community Relations. Our police community officers will be in our high schools for their bi-weekly police interaction classes in the next 2 weeks. They will also be at one of the middle schools for their bi-weekly at-risk youth mentoring program, as well as meeting with a group of girls at one of the elementary schools and middle schools for a mentoring group. They will also be at various elementary schools reading for Dr. Sue's birthday. And don't forget that 2019 Senior Police Academy applications are available now. You can find them online or go to any of the senior buildings, again, for the 2009 Senior Police Academy. The academy will take place on Wednesdays this year, and it will be starting in May. And item number 9, Barron Art Center. They have performance, a constitutional debate, Thomas Jefferson versus Alexander Hamilton, on March 6, 2019 at 7:30 p.m. at Woodbridge Middle School. No reservation is required. On March 15, 2009 at 7:30 at the Barron Art Center, they have a concert, Spook Candy and the Seed Planners. You do need a reservation for this, so please call 732-6 634-0413. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President DeJesus. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. Going down to item number 5, the Have a Heart food drive. We are in full swing, just about closing it up. The past week we've gone out on our Have a Heart food drive tour to all the schools. A lot of the schools really came up and donated a lot of food this year. There was a challenge for the township to either give, or to businesses to either donate 214 pounds of food or $214. And Woodbridge Township really stepped up so far, and we still have another week to go. We've raised over $31,000 and 18,000 pounds of food. So it matters even if you're just giving a couple cans of food. It really does help people that are in need right here in our township, our neighbors that you might not even think are hungry. So, and it was just such a great thing to see all the children give all their food, especially little kindergartners that, they knew they were doing something really good. So thank you to everybody that donated to that. And just also on item number 5, our Chili Fest, the 12th annual Chili Fest will be March 3rd. It'll be at JJ Biddings. It's from 12 to 2. That's on Main Street. Admission is $10, and we are looking for chili chefs. So if anybody likes to cook chili, please contact Eileen at the Rec Department at 732-596-4047. All the money we raise that day will go to a young girl from Avenel. And lastly, on item number 8 for Colonia Fire Department, I would just like to congratulate Ray Hughes and Ed Sheehan for being reelected as fire commissioners. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman.
Thank you, Council President. Number 1, Relay for Life. Relay for Life is a signature fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. It's staffed and coordinated by volunteers in thousands of communities and 27 countries. Volunteers give of their time and effort because they believe it's time to take action against cancer. Woodbridge is celebrating a 25th anniversary of their Relay for Life committee here in Woodbridge. They're having a kickoff on March 11th at 5:30, hosted by Bahama Breeze, which is located in the Woodbridge Center Mall parking lot. You can sign up because the Relay for Life event is going to be on June 8th at Woodbridge High School. And please come out and support the Woodbridge community that is trying very hard to fight for a cure for cancer. If you have any questions, you could reach out to me and I can help you with that. And then there's also a Relay for Life Elks annual breakfast fundraiser, which is on April 7th. If you want to buy tickets in advance, please let me know. Number 5, the Chamber of Commerce. They have a nonprofit seminar planned for March 27th. The seminar will feature an esteemed panel of professionals with keynote speaker Sally Glick, who's a strategist for Sobel and Company. Our panelists include Brett Harris from the Willents Law Firm, Joanne DiNapoli, a grant writer from Hackensack Meridian Health, Vincent Pongillo, a CPA, Michael Giabello from Investors Bank, and our very own Monica Eppinger from the Woodbridge Township Library. They will all be providing resources to all of our attendees that work in the nonprofit field. You can contact the Chamber for additional details or visit the Woodbridge Chamber website. I just wanted to congratulate Todd Howell and Robert Minkler Sr. on their recent Fire Commissioner re-election victory for the Woodbridge Fire Department. Thank you. That's all I have, Council President. I'm good. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Anderson.
Councilwoman.
I didn't think you heard that. That's too many councilwomen in a row.
That's thank you, Council President.
No problem, Council.
For item number 1, the WTYRC will be holding the best practices meeting on Tuesday, March 26th here in the council chambers at 7 p.m. and that will be for all of the league officials, presidents, and league directors, and they will cover many areas such as your handling your books, running your league, bylaws. There will be professionals on hand from the clerk's office. We will also have some CPAs and attorneys here, and we will also have some members of the Brain Injury Alliance here. And it's a very important meeting for all league officials. Please come down for that meeting. I'll also like to announce that Woodbridge Little League and Colonia Little Fellows are presently conducting their registrations. So if you have a young boy or girl looking to play softball or baseball, please have them see both of the websites which can be found on our township recreation site. As far as jobs go, Avenel Performing Arts. It's a great time to live in Woodbridge, especially if you're looking for work. Avenel Performing Arts is hiring full-time and part-time positions, so they have front house managers, servers, food runners, bussers, bartenders, barbacks, anything that you would see in the kitchen. You also have positions of hosts and hostesses. So go to jobs@avenelarts.com. And I also mentioned at the last meeting, Educational Services Commission of New Jersey is now listed on our site. It's a great school, and they have a post-21 program. So when the young people graduate out of their program, they now have, a lot of times for special needs parents, for parents of special needs kids, they don't have anything for them once they're reached the age of 21. There is a program now, and they're looking for a program executive director, and you can email nromano@escnj.k12.nj.us. And there are other positions as well on the website for the ESC Commission of New Jersey. ISS, Technical Sales Engineer position is available. Please email Mary, M-A-R-I, @issivs.com. FedEx is hiring. Trinity Episcopal Church is looking for a part-time bookkeeper and office administrator. Chick-fil-A and AJD Construction is hiring specifically for a Woodbridge project. So please check out the website for all of the jobs that I just mentioned. And there are many others, including BASF. I'm going to hold on item number 3 and hold on the Mayor's Trophy. Woodbridge Hall of Fame, what I will do is I will mention that Colonia High School basketball team, congratulations. Councilwoman Meehan's son is a member. Timmy is a member of the basketball team that has advanced to the semifinals, and they will be facing off against St. Joe's at Middlesex County College at
New Brunswick.
They changed it to New Brunswick. Okay, so they'll be playing New Brunswick High School on Thursday, and if they advance, they will be playing on Friday. So come out and support them. I also like to congratulate Councilman Small and his daughter, who is the coach of the Woodbridge High School boys bowling, who won their sectional championship. We always have a great bowling program, both boys and girls, here in Woodbridge Township. Going to hold on a Taste of Woodbridge. Charity raffle will hold. Drive-in movie will hold. For the NAACP, I will mention that the NAACP has a new president, and they operate out of 1 Olive Street in Perth Amboy at the Recreation Center, and they meet on the third Monday of the month at 7 p.m., and they represent Perth Amboy, South Amboy, Carteret, Sayreville, and Woodbridge. So they are going to be having meet and greets all through all of those towns. So hang tight for those dates that are going to be coming to Woodbridge, where they'll be doing meet and greets. Going to hold on item number 10, and the Independent Club of Colonia will be having the Black History Month event this Sunday, February 24th, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Evergreen Center. It's a free event. Come on out. There's a lot of great food. And there's also great music, great spoken word, and great history going on. And for the Tooling Around the Township, this year we will be holding Tooling Around the Township on April 27, 2009. It's a program that organizes teams of local community volunteers to make repairs to the homes of senior citizens, disabled, and low-income residents unable to do so themselves, or residents presently facing financial hardship. So if you know someone that is in need of repair, or if you are looking to volunteer, please call 732-602-6015, and there's additional information where you can go to www.township.woodbridge@nj.us or email tooling@twp.woodbridge.nj.us. Again, that's April 27th Saturday, we'll be doing our tooling around the town. I'm going to hold on the final 2 items, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Councilman Ficarra.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Anderson, I'm not sure if you mentioned, but also Tommy Mitch is on that Colonia basketball team.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mitch's son.
Yeah.
So we got a few anxious
We'll
parents.
be charging him double admission this week.
Just a few announcements specifically for parents in our community that have young children. The Highland Grove and Woodbridge Community Center summer camp registration. I know it's hard to believe with snow on the way, but registration started today. There are brochures at our community center to pick up, and those spots fill up quickly. Likewise, the Highland Grove Preschool, which is an excellent program for next year, 219-220. That's for 3- and 4-year-olds. You can visit the Highland Grove Preschool this Thursday, although this may not be televised at that point. But it's an opportunity to register. And then finally, in the community center itself, during this month, if you bring a friend to the community center to register, you'll get 30-minute free training, personal trainer. So it's a nice opportunity. Anything that I said that you might miss about our community center can be found on their website, njwcc.com. That's NewJersey-Woodbridge-Community-Center.com, and you can check all of that out. And then just a little advance notice of a very enjoyable activity that promotes healthy eating and healthy nutrition. On Friday, April the 12th, there will be a challenge between Mayor McCormick and some of our local high school students to develop a healthy smoothie, again, just to promote healthy diet. And that'll be a fun event. More information to follow. And that's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Ficarra. Councilman Small.
Thank you, Mr. President. My agenda is in order. 2 announcements. March 10th, 1:30 p.m. will be the annual American Irish Parade. I would encourage the public to come out. It's a great day for everybody, not only the Irish. So again, that's March 10th at 1:30 p.m. And congratulations to elected fire commissioners in Port Reading. First of all, our first elected female fire commissioner, Joanne Molnar, and also want to seat Stephen Weber, also won the second seat. So congratulations to them. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Small. Councilman Patel.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order, but I have one announcement. This Sunday, February 24th, we are going to have a breakfast and brunch with the mayor, other council members, and fire officials, and that's going to be at Iselin Fire Company number 1, which is located at 1222 Green Street, Iselin, and the hours are between 10:15 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. And also the same day we'll have also breakfast and brunch with the mayor, council members, and fire department officials at Iselin Chemical Hook and Ladder Company, which is located at 20 Auth Avenue, Iselin. And that's going to be between the hours of 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Councilman Bauer.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. 2 announcements. Just a reminder, Forest Clara Bar and Baseball League is holding their spring 2019 baseball registration either online or multiple in-person registrations throughout February and March, and check their websites for those dates. And also, Ford's District 2nd Ward will be holding the Meet the Mayor on Sunday, March 3rd from 2 to 3 p.m. for a brunch. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Bauer. Mr. Mitch.
Mr. President, the only item is I'll be adding on a liquor license transfer to the owners of the TGI projects. That's all I have.
Thank you, Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will have a resolution on to accept an emergency management assistance grant. There'll be 2 resolutions that will be on for the next meeting for guide rails and also parking lot improvements at the Woodbridge pump station. And there's also a proposal for the physical condition survey. There's finally there's be an item on to approve a license for the Coast Guard tower to be located over next to the Coast Guard auxiliary building. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Senator. Director Hubner.
The general handicap spaces, and we're removing a number of handicap parking spaces that are no longer in use, and we're adding 1 handicap space in Fords. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Green.
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Director. Director Sundaluca.
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Director. Director Dorgan.
Thank you, Council President. We'll have for you the renewal of the shared services agreement with Edison for elevator services. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Henry.
Thank you, Council President. I have one item. It's a release of a maintenance bond at 100 Woodbridge Center Drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Legal? Nothing this evening. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Meeting adjourned. Good evening, Governor. Thank you.